Today's episode of the WAC podcast is brought to you by Hercules Tires, the official tire of the Western Athletic Conference. Now here are your hosts, Eric Danner and Rachel Vigil.
Welcome everybody into another episode of the WAC podcast. Eric Danner and Rachel Vigil, ready to talk some football because Sam Houston, they're number one.
Sam Houston is number one. We're going to get to that in a minute, Rachel. This is not just another WAC podcast. This is your last WAC podcast, as you will be taking off, going on to greener pastures, which we're so happy for you, Rachel.
I'm going to get emotional.
But at the same time, that's what it's about. You're a young person.
Yep.
You did almost three and a half years.
Yeah.
Here with the WAC and have done a great job, and have seen you grow, and now you're ready to fly away out of the nest. I know.
Did all my college sports, learned as much as I could. Now we're off to professional sports. So exciting things to come, but very bittersweet as I move on. But you're going to have a very fun fall with a lot of sports going on, including football.
Very fun. And Sam Houston ranked number one in the country. Yep. No surprise, I guess, there that they won the national championship. Now they're ranked number one. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're number one in the WAC poll, number one in the AQ7 poll, and now several different FCS polls are coming out with the Bearcats ranked number one, and they will be opening before too long, September 2nd, Thursday night at Northern Arizona. So that'll be one to circle on your calendar.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun game too. Yeah. And then when they get their rings and they go back home too. So I had an opportunity to see their championship ring.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah. Well, I got to see like the mock-up of it.
The bling.
Yes. And my goodness, is it cool. So excited to see that once it actually will hit social media and everybody else gets to see, but be on the lookout because it's awesome.
That will be awesome. And speaking of bling and rings, we're going to have Leonard Griffin from GCU. Actually, he wouldn't be getting a ring from last year since this is his first year as men's soccer coach with the Lopes, but they're picked to win the WAC in men's soccer. He's replacing the legendary Shellis Heineman. So obviously a tough task there anytime you replace somebody who's had a lot of success, but Leonard Griffin also has had a lot of success as both a coach and a player.
Yeah. And, first of all, I want to say Shellis Heineman was one of my favorite coaches to have the opportunity to sit down with. He always had a smile on his face, was always great in interviews too. But yeah, now he's off, hopefully traveling and not doing anything involved with soccer, because I know he's told us that all the trips they did revolved around soccer. But yeah, Leonard Griffin, he's going to be on the podcast here in just a little bit too. And we're excited to sit down and talk to him and see how, this first kind of couple of weeks with the men's soccer program is really taken off.
Yeah. And we were actually, as we record this on a Tuesday, we were hoping to talk to him earlier today, but they were having a scrimmage. So they're getting underway, and men's soccer will be starting next week. Women's soccer will be starting this week, Thursday. And we should hopefully have a big announcement regarding where you can watch that here in the next couple of days. But we're very excited about that. And it'll be very interesting to see some of our teams, some of our new teams, how they blend in with some of the existing teams. It's going to be a really powerful league for women's soccer. Now back to men's soccer. Preseason polls came out on Tuesday. As we mentioned, GCU picked to win the league. They went undefeated in WAC play last year, and then they wound up losing in the championship to Air Force, who was the number 6 seed, made it through the tournament, got into the NCAAs, as did GCU last year. So we had two teams get in, and Air Force picked number 4 this year. Seattle U Pete Fewing, number 2, always a tough out, as they say in men's soccer, and the number 3 team being San Jose State. Mm-hmm. So Simon Tobin, the head coach at San Jose State, they're always a team to watch as well. And 12 teams in WAC men's soccer this year. Chicago State added the sport, brand new for the Cougars, and they'll be playing a WAC schedule this year. So it should be a lot of fun as we head into the fall season.
I know, it's hard to believe. Always great competition on the men's soccer side too. And, as much as I'm sure Grand Canyon really wanted to win the tournament, it kind of worked out nicely for the WAC that we ended up having 2 schools to represent. It's getting our name and brand out there, which is obviously a great thing. And a lot of fun to watch all of those games. And
there have been 2 teams for the last few years as well. So not just a
one and done kind of thing.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to again this upcoming year. And then GCU also landing the preseason player of the year, Justin Rasmussen, and the preseason defensive player of the year, Esai Eastley. So that'll be interesting to see. You look at the list, there's some new names on there, some old names on there, but Rachel, you'll be you won't have to worry about it as much, but
I'll still keep my tabs.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Obviously still pay attention and make sure conference is doing good. And then obviously whoever is next in this spot, I can't wait to see the different content you guys can come up with.
Yeah, if anybody's interested,
Come join the WAC.
yeah, check out our website and check out the NCAA job site. We have postings on both those places as well as other places as well. So if you want to sit where Rachel's sitting here, great
Not
opportunity.
a bad boss, I promise. You guys will get along great.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to Leonard Griffin, the head men's soccer coach at Grand Canyon. You're listening to the WAC podcast.
Hercules Tires is the official tire of the Western Athletic Conference, and for over 65 years has been providing tires with unbeatable quality at an unmatched value. Whatever the vehicle and whatever the terrain, Hercules Tires invites you to ride on our strength. For a retailer near you, visit HerculesTires.com.
Welcome back to the WAC podcast. Eric Danner, Rachel Vigil with Leonard Griffin, the new head coach for GCU men's soccer. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. Coach, I know you're not in Phoenix currently, but you're traveling with the team. What's been your first impression so far, getting to know all of these new players?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, we have a group of a bunch of fantastic young men with high character already, so it makes it that much easier. They've all been extremely welcoming to me and to our staff, and have been very receptive to our ideas, both with the team and the culture, but also on the soccer field and what we'd like that to look like going into the season.
Coach Griffin, tell us where you are and what was the idea behind this road trip before the season gets started?
Yeah, I think it allows us to get out of the heat of Phoenix, Arizona, in one of the hardest parts of in our season, doing double day trainings. So that was one side of it, but also the other side for myself and our staff to get to know the players more, to be able to spend more time with them, just in a controlled environment and controlled setting where we can be with them and have a lot of team activities outside of the trainings, but also spend the time that we need on the field to try to get to know the group as best we can before we start competing here in about 10 days.
Coach, we tried to schedule an interview with you earlier this morning. We're filming this on a Tuesday, and you had a scrimmage take place. What was one thing that you liked on both ends of the balls that you saw?
Yeah, I think that we kept zeros on the board defensively. I think that was something that we started off initially in our plannings in terms of what we want to get out of this first match, is to make sure we were organized and disciplined defensively. And from front to back, I thought we did a very good job of that, especially when you see zeros on the board from the opponent. And then to be able to score goals, I think was the next side of it. And we didn't get to spend as much time in terms of what we'd like our attack to look like in the build. But I think before our opening match, we will. But to get 2 goals regardless was something I was really excited to see.
As Rachel mentioned, we're recording this on a Tuesday. This morning, the preseason poll comes out, the WAC preseason coaches poll. Grand Canyon, #1 pick to win the league. Your thoughts on being picked #1? Obviously, the defending champions in the league, but I guess a certain sign of respect from the other coaches in the league.
Yeah, no, credit to what's been done before I reach here in the program. And for me, we're hoping to build on that. And so it's great to be recognized, but I think all of us have our expectations set on being the best we can each and every day, and hopefully we can keep and stay at that spot. But I think one game at a time is the approach that we'll take as a staff and as a team, and we can't wait to get started.
Coach, as you looked at this job and went for it, what was the most attractive part of it?
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, I think obviously the things that stick out immediately are the facilities and that stadium that we get to play in front of a fantastic supporters group in the Havocs, and can't wait to get in front of them and just to see the videos and see the energy that each home match has is something truly remarkable in college soccer, and is arguably the best experience for our players in the country. So that was extremely attractive. The support from the administration matches that support from the Havocs, and so to have that support behind us is extremely exciting. And then having family close by for me was also something that was truly special. My wife's from Phoenix, Arizona, so for my 2 young kids to have grandma and grandpa and aunts, uncles, and cousins close by is hard to say no to. So.
Coach, in terms of taking that job, obviously you mentioned the facilities, those kind of things, but you also are taking over for Shellis Heineman, a Hall of Fame coach. And as you mentioned, built a very good foundation there in Phoenix. That's always kind of tough when you're replacing a guy who's had some success like Coach Heineman.
Yeah, no doubt. A legend in our game here in the United States. And I had an opportunity to sit down with Coach Hyman just as I was taking the job. And what a remarkable man. Learned a lot from him in our short meeting. Yeah, I got some big shoes to fill, but I truly feel ready for this opportunity. And hopefully we can help leave our own legacy here in the program. And I think myself, my staff, and the team are all excited to continue to move the program forward.
Coach, last question from me. As you look forward to this season and fans may not know your style of play, what can they expect from your team when they take the pitch?
Yeah, I think we added a few pieces that will add to the team's overall athleticism. We want to be a team that takes the game to our opponents, both offensively and defensively. Can we press teams high up the field if possible and at the right times, and turn the ball over in good spots and look to take advantage of that? But a team that loves to build from back to front, a very attacking minded, possession-oriented team, and should be one for even the non-soccer fan. Hopefully exciting to watch.
Coach Justin Rasmussen named preseason offensive player of the year. Esai Easley named preseason defensive player of the year. So pretty good building blocks right there. But I know one of the things you have to figure out in the preseason here is who's going to be the goalkeeper for GCU, as George Tesori's was the WAC Defensive Player of the Year in the spring, has moved on. Any ideas who's going to be in the net and some of the other new faces we might see for GCU soccer fans?
Yeah, we have a battle. I think Anthony Munoz, who sat behind George last year, is scratching at the surface to take that number one spot. We brought a young keeper in, Rafa Guerrero, who has played and has professional experience training with FC Tucson. So I think those two have had a very positive, healthy competition so far this preseason, and I'm excited to see who ends up grabbing that role. But regardless, I think we have two goalkeepers, if not three goalkeepers deep, that we feel confident will help do the job for us this season.
Awesome, Coach. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. Hopefully you can have some time and enjoy the beach.
Yeah, thank you. It's a little cloudy here and a little cooler than Phoenix, but we'll still see if we get in the water.
That is Leonard Griffin, the head men's soccer coach at Grand Canyon University. The Lopes picked to win the WAC in men's soccer this year. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the WAC podcast.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And check out our website at wacsports.com.